Hey guys, it's Hannah, and today I am finally doing my February wrap-up and March TBR. Yes, I know it's kind of late for that, but well, I have reasons. If you read my description on my last video, then you noticed that I got my wisdom teeth out last week, and so I was out for the whole week, and then we went to Louisiana, and then I just haven't had time since then. So I know this is late, but those are the reasons. I was not going to film myself and put it up on YouTube when I looked like a chipmunk. I wasn't going to do that. I just wasn't going to do that. So you get a late video, but you know, it's okay. All's good. All's good. The first book I read in February was If Only by Richard Paul Evans. This book is about a kid named Eric, and he and his family live in kind of a, dingy side of town. And then one day he's at work and he sees a girl digging around in the dumpster, and so he's like, "Are you homeless or what's going on?" And she's like, "I ran away from home." And they have a clubhouse in his backyard, and he's like, "You can just come stay in my clubhouse." And then stuff happens, and yeah. So I expected this to be more of a middle grade type of novel. I was told it was for young adults, but the way I understood it, it was more for young adults, so I was picturing like a middle grade book. And there's some stuff in here that wouldn't necessarily, in my mind at least, be in a middle grade book, so when it happened, it kind of caught me off guard. But the funniest part is I thought it could happen. I was like, but nah, it wouldn't happen in this book. This is like for middle graders. And then it happened, I'm like, what? So I was reading when my friend was over, and when I kind of reacted to one part, she was like, well, let me see what's going on. And so she started reading it, and then she started freaking out. She was reading the ending, and she starts freaking out, and I'm thinking, what? And so we went to our Bible study, and during game time, I was sitting there like this the whole time. And it was really funny because we're playing a different version of dodgeball where one person was the guard and could get hit and not get out, and they were guarding a person who could get it, hit and get out, and then if they got out, then both of them were out. And so I was somebody's guard, and she would just kind of move me around where she needed me, and we were the last one standing. This book wasn't my favorite. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't the best. It started out a bit slow for me, and it never really picked up pace. But it wasn't like slow to the point that I didn't enjoy reading it. It just was slow to the point that I could easily set it down and not pick it up for a while. And so it wasn't bad, it just wasn't my favorite. And also the part that completely caught me off guard, which actually made me enjoy the book even more, so that raised it up from like a 3 to a 3.5. But so yeah, it was good, but just not my favorite book. The next book I read the next book I read last month, February, was The Siren by Kiera Cass. This book is about a girl named Colleen, is how I would say her name, but I've heard people say it other ways, but I always said Colleen. It's about a girl, and she is on a boat, and then this big storm comes, and people are just like flinging themselves overboard, and she's kind of like, well, I don't want to die. And then the ocean hears her and catches her up and is like, well, either you can die or you can be one of my sirens and you sing so I can eat people and keep the world moving around. And she's like, I'll sing and so you can eat people. And so then it's about her. She's in her 80th year, in her 100-year term of servanthood to the ocean, and she meets a boy, a normal, average, everyday boy, and stuff happens because she can't talk or else he'd die, and she can't really get close to people, and it's a really good book. So this book it's not gonna baffle you, it's not going to blow your mind, but if you want a nice, just really fun, really sweet read, then you should definitely pick this book up. I highly enjoyed it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was just a nice, fun read for the month of February, and it was great. And Kiera Cass's writing is great too. So if you want a nice, just fun, lighthearted love story, then you should read this one. Also, there are some parts where you think something bad will happen and you are just over it. So it's great. It's great. I enjoyed it very much. The next book I read was my favorite for the month, and that was Listening Valley by D.E. Stevenson. And this book was actually the book that my cousin and I read for our little book club that we made together, and I made a whole video about my thoughts on something that goes on in this book, and I'll leave a link in the description down below. But this book is set in World War II, and it is about a girl named Tanya, or her full name's Antonia, but people call her Tanya or Tonya. Either way works. Either way works. But it's about a girl named Tonya, and I don't really know how to explain it without giving away the beginning part, but basically it's about her living her life after her sister gets married and moves away, because they were very, very close, like inseparable when they were younger. But then her sister gets married and she kind of has to find her own way in life, because she was the shy one and her older sister was the kind of let's do this one. And so it's just about her figuring that out, and it's so good, especially in this one part. It's good. It's good. It's good. So if you should just read it. If you like anything, you should just read it, because it is a great book. The last book I read this month was Undertow by Michael Buckley. This book is about a girl named Lyric, and she is hiding a secret because she is part water person? Not mermaid. There was a term for it, but like part water creature. And the water creatures aren't exactly accepted in this society, but they're trying to kind of integrate them more in the society, so they start attending the school and stuff goes down. This book I didn't enjoy. I ended up giving it a 2 out of 5 stars, which is the lowest rating I've given a book in a very long time. And I just couldn't get into it. And the romance that was happening between some of the characters, there was one that I enjoyed, but the other one, it was so stupid. It was so stupid. I couldn't get behind it. It was horrible. No. This book, it didn't keep me interested. Like, the whole idea is a great idea, but the way he executed it, it didn't do what I wanted to do. And so I just didn't enjoy it, which really stinks, because 1 is gorgeous. I mean, look at this. And 2, it's signed. So I really wanted to enjoy it, but I just didn't. And especially with that romance, because it wasn't even was it a romance? I mean, really? I don't think it was that. Yeah, I just have problems with this book. Just didn't enjoy it. I mean, a lot of people do. So if you want to read it, go ahead. But just know that I don't think I'll continue with the series. And I think I'll just leave it on my shelf and then forget about it. So now we're going to get into the March TBR. So the first book I want to finish in March is kind of a big one. Very much so a big one. But I've already started it. But it's still a big book. And that is Alexander Hamilton by Ron Chernow? I don't know how to say his last name. But this is one hunker of a book. It's 731 pages, I believe. And I am currently right here. I think I'm in chapter 11. And this is like a good week or so of reading. But it's really good so far. I'm really enjoying it. But the reason I started reading it, I was originally not going to. But I'm writing a research paper on Alexander Hamilton, and I wasn't going to read it for the paper. I was going to kind of like, skim through it and read certain parts to get more info on those parts. But then I was really enjoying the way it was written, and so I decided, I'll just read the whole thing. But I don't know if I can get the whole thing done by the time I need my research paper in is the only problem. But hopefully I can. It'd be really nice if I could. But we'll see. We'll see. But I would really like to finish this as soon, which I know is a very, very ambitious goal. And it'd be ideal if I could just, kind of space it out and read it over the course of a couple of months. But since I'm trying to get it done for this paper, I can't exactly do that. So, wish me luck! The next book I want to read this month is Persuasion by Jane Austen, because my cousin and I, as I mentioned in one of my videos, I think it was my wrap-up for last month, but my cousin and I made a book club together, and so last month we read Listening Valley, which I loved, and this month we're reading Persuasion, and so I'm going to read this month, and it's one of her shorter novels, and I love Jane Austen, so this will be very fun, and will go very quick, and it'll be a nice, quick read compared to Alexander Hamilton. yeah. The next two books on my TBR are just kind of thrown in here because they're books that I own that I want to read, and if I have time this month after reading Hamilton and stuff, then I will try to read them, but they're not like a definite thing that I want to read. I might read some historical fiction novels that we have at the library. I might read something else that I own. It's just these are two that are on the top of my list that I own that I want to read. Just so you know. So the first one is Absolutely Truly by Heather Vogel Frederick. And this book is about a girl who, I believe she's in middle school, but she's like 6 foot tall. And so they move to this small town where she can't really hide. And she likes to kind of blend in, but she can't really blend in when she's a middle grader who's 6 feet tall. And then some kind of mystery happens involving a bookstore, I believe. And I don't really know that much about it, but that's what I know about it. And it's a really pretty cover, and so I hope to read this soon. And the last book on my TBR is The Aviary by Kathleen Odell, and I have absolutely no idea what this book is about. I know it has something to do with like an old building and some kind of mysteries in the old building, which sounds great and sounds cool, and the cover is really cool. I bought it because of the cover. But yeah, so we'll see if I can get around to this month. So that is it for my February wrap-up and March TBR. Again, I apologize for it being so late, but I was, you know, I was a bit kooky at the time. I was in deep sedation. Yeah, that was fun. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see y'all again in another one soon.